conversations with a stranger I barely know. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose or use or do. My bad habits lead to white eyes staring into space, and I know I lose control of the things that I say. Yeah, I was looking for a way out, now I can't escape. Nothing happens after two. It's true, it's true. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you.
Que no soy invisible, porque me muero cada vez que te resistes. Y si me dices yo me voy de aquí, no me tortures, ignores o dime que no soy invisible. Yeah. Siempre por ti no estaré triste. La gente me mira en la calle como una loca caminando y hablando a mí misma. Me tiran monedas y billetes como si fuera una vagabunda. Y no saben que no soy una pobre, nada más estoy pobre de amor. Y no saben que estoy practicando palabras que no salen frente de ti. Desde que te vi, estoy haciendo todo para poder conocerte. Y no es suficiente tratándome con una pared. Dime que no soy invisible, porque me muero cada vez que te resistes. Y si me dices yo me voy de aquí, no me tortures, ignores o dime que no soy invisible. Yeah. Siempre por ti no estaré triste.
Visiones de tú y yo bailando, mami, bien pegado. Yeah, you know how to make my heart stop. Y tu cuerpo moviendo como una bandera. Dale una vuelta, girl, drop. Pero no sé, nena, yo no sé si una santa como tú puede caer. You and I belong together. No me importa de la gente, tengo mi amor de frente de ti.
Desde que te vi, estoy haciendo todo para poder conocerte. Y no es suficiente tratándome con una pared. Dime que no soy invisible, porque me muero cada vez que te resistes.
Si tú me dices yo me voy de aquí, no me tortures, ignores o dime que no soy invisible.
Siempre por ti no estaré triste.
Dime que no soy invisible.
Need a boy you can cuddle with me all night. Give me one, let me long, be my sunlight. Tell me lies, we can argue, we can fight. Yeah, we did it before, but we'll do it tonight. Yeah, that fro black boy with the gold teeth. Your dark skin looking at me like you know me. I wonder if you got the G or the B. Let me find out and see you coming over to me. Yeah. These days are way too lonely. I'm missing out, I know. These days are way too long, and I'm not forgiving, love away, but I want someone to love me. I need someone who needs me, 'cause it don't feel right when it's late at night and it's just me and my dreams. So I want someone to love. That's what I really want. Look, you know it's hard to define in these times, but I got nothing but love on my mind. I need a baby while I'm in my prime. Need an adversary to my down and weary. Like, tell me that's life when I'm stressing at night. Be like, you'll be okay and everything's alright. Let me hear nothing, 'cause I'm not wanting anything but your love in your body and a little bit of your brain. These days are way too love away, but I want someone to love me. I need someone who needs me. 'Cause it don't feel right when it's late at night and it's just me and my dreams. So I want someone to love. That's what I really want. I want someone to love me. I need someone who needs me. 'Cause it don't feel right when it's late at night and it's just me and my dreams. So I want someone to love. That's what I really want.
An arrow to the heart. I never kissed a mouth that tastes like yours. Strawberries and something more. Ooh yeah, I want it all. Lipstick on my guitar. Fill up the engine, we can drive real far. Go dancing underneath the stars. Ooh yeah, I want it all. Got me feeling like I wanna be that guy. I wanna kiss your eyes. I wanna drink that smile. I wanna feel like my soul's on fire. I wanna stay up all day and all night. Yeah, you got me singing like, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. And we'll say, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back into the car. On the backseat in the moonlit dark. Wrap me up between your legs and arms. Ooh, I can get enough. You know you could tear me apart. Put me back together and take my heart. I never thought that I could love this hard. Ooh, I can get enough. Ooh, you got me feeling like I wanna be that guy. I wanna kiss your eyes. I wanna drink that smile. I wanna feel like my soul's on fire. I wanna stay up all day and all night. Yeah, you got me singing like, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. And we'll say, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. Baby, you burn so hot, you make me shiver with the fire. You got this thing you started, I don't want it to stop. You know you make me shiver. Baby, you burn so hot, you make me shiver with the fire. You got this thing you started, I don't want it to stop.
Thank you. Now everybody online can hear us. Woo! How's everybody doing? Good? A little cold. I know. I have coffee. Get some coffee if you're cold. Hi, ladies. We need like modeling advice. When you go and you take these gorgeous pictures and I'm like, how does she stay? What is she? I mean, beautiful. How's everybody doing? Good? Good to see everybody in here. I'm amazing. Thank you for asking. Go Paul, what's up? Go Paul likes to sit in the back. So he's gonna sit by, he was trying. That was a nice move right there. I saw that. I saw that. All right, y'all. Well, we are late, so let's go ahead and get going. Make sure I got my button, my first buttons here. Is this is your first time at team meeting? Like you've never actually come in the room. I'm not gonna make you do anything embarrassing. Just raise your hand and let us know your name if this is your first time at team meeting. Oh, I'm looking surprised. would you please just stand up and introduce yourself? Or if you feel good, just wave. If you feel good, just wave. And Beauty in Black, do you want to stand up? Just wave. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Oh, no, Miss Carmen, I'm talking to you, beautiful. Yes. Feel free to stand up, introduce yourself. Awesome. Welcome. We're glad you're here. All right. So one first little piece that I forgot was we are also in Zoom land. So if anybody speaks, you have to speak into the mic. I have one up front. Looks like Miss Keldia will be my other runner so that everybody can hear us online. So let's do bucket fills. This is one of my favorite parts. This is an opportunity for, let's do 3 people today, for you to stand up and you could say thank you if somebody has done something amazing in your life, maybe in your business, maybe helped you out with something lately, just showed up for you. Who is that person? We'll take 3. Start with Miss Tiffany. Thank you, Brandy.
So I want to bucket fill David. Every year, my mom has been gone for it'll be 6 years in December. Every month, on October 5th on her birthday, he messaged me and says he's thinking of me on her birthday, every day on the exact day. That means a lot. and I appreciate it.
Amazing. That is awesome. Who else? I got 2 mics. We still got 2 more bucket fills. I know there's some people doing some amazing things around here. Who is it? Oh, I will wait for bucket fills. We got 2. Oh, okay, here we go. Back to the table.
But I want to say thank you to Jim and Charlene. They are always amazing and they are always there to help me when I have any questions. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. That's awesome. They're enjoying their month, toes in the sand, maybe online, we're not sure. All right, one more bucket fill. We'll run you the mic. One more. Oh, I will wait for my bucket fill. This is my favorite part. Justin's got one. Oh, since I had 2 hands, we're going to take 4 now. One for Justin, one from Rob. Very good job, gentlemen.
Say thank you to PJ for helping us do some buyer consultation mock presentations. It's very helpful in the introduction to what's to come.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for that. Anybody interested? Today, 2 o'clock, Susan George. They've been doing some role play. Been amazing. So again, we were in the room this morning and Jay, we were actually talking about like, who are you practicing on? Right? If you step out onto the football field and didn't have a day of practice, right? And come in on game day, whoa, we know what that looks like. They're called the Panthers, right? Seriously. Could you imagine? Right? It's true. So we're not going to go down that squirrel hole. We're not going to go down that. Okay. I did have one more. Rob, give us the 4th.
Oh, I was just gonna bucket fill PJ just for being PJ.
Awesome. We love PJ.
That's because I got him a hotel room for family reunion. So that's the only reason.
All right, so if you're new, if not, you guys know what we're going to go through. This is our MVVBPs, our mission, our vision, our values, and our belief system. Today, I want to do a little bit differently. I want somebody to, again, grab the mic and give us, what does this actually mean to you to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, or legacies worth living? What does that mean? Jess wants to take this one. I got another one for Karen.
So to me, this is what KW does for me. I mean, because every single line of this, careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, because people like you guys and the culture, experiences worth giving, again, culture and everything that KW gives us, and then also legacies worth leaving, which KW also gives us that.
Yeah.
So this is what KW should be giving you, and therefore it affects everyone around you. I mean, it just embodies every single thing that we do, why we do it, and why we're here in this company.
Amazing. Amen and got an amen. I love it. All right, so this is our vision. It's to be the real estate company of choice for both agents and their customers. What does this one speak to you? Somebody's got to raise their hand, grab a mic. Raise your hand, grab a mic. Miss Karen, go for it. Nope, you can just talk right into it. Keep it close to your mouth, close to your mouth.
Well, coming from a different culture, and I can say this, is that the real estate company of choice for agents is, and I was talking to Mike about this, is how we work together as a market center, and which makes our market center profitable. You know, we're still competitive here, but compared to other companies, the shoe in to help people at no cost and to do, and to be on call and to help people is, it's a culture like no company I've worked at in real estate or out. So that's the big thing for me. And I think the customers see that because we work at a team. Because if you can't do it, then someone can.
That's awesome. And it truly is, right? The collaboration versus the competition. I love it. That's awesome. All right, this one, I'll go ahead and take. It's God, family, then business. It should actually be unbolded and then bolded the word then, right? There's a specific order that we talk about here of things that come in our life. All right, this next one. Caleb's not here to do our dance. I hate if y'all missed out on that. Please ask him at any time to do it. Maybe he's lead generating in there. I know he's got his calls to make. This is our belief system. Who wants to give us one on this? What does this speak to you? Why is it important? You could pick one. You could tell us just the belief system in general. Like, what is it?
I can take this one. The one that always stands out to me is win-win or no deal. I think that in our negotiations, in our day-to-day, but also in your day-to-day life, it's a win-win or it's no deal. It's a no-go, and making sure that that's how you live your day-to-day.
I love it. That's awesome. I think that's, if not the most important, right? In all things we do, it's got to be a win-win. All right, our perspective is to be a technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents and buyers and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer consultant, and it focuses all of its activities on service, productivity, and profitability. Who wants to give us one on this? Grab the mic. Mic. Where is our second? Just so I know, and we can. Thank you. Just so we.
Well, I was doing my bold work yesterday.
Bold
and
work, not
I had to
homework.
Listen to part of the Think Like a CEO podcast. And I didn't know if I was supposed to listen to a specific one, but I just picked one. And it was talking about this from Family Reunion 2019, and where Gary said, yeah, we've come up with this idea. And for 4 years, everyone's going to think we're idiots. And now all the companies who are building their own technology, and it just plays into the culture. The reason he did it was to keep us at the center of the transaction. And so we own our data and we can utilize that for our benefit and the benefit of our clients rather than giving it away and then paying for it. He's always focused on us. And I say this, and people have heard it before, but it just amazes me that Gary Keller gets up every morning and his job is, how can I make it possible for Jenny Lynch to have the life she wants? That's his job.
That's awesome. Good one, Jenny. All right. Jenny even got the round of applause. I love it. All right, I got my first special guest. You may know this amazing face. This is David Seabour.
Thanks, Teresa.
Yes.
So there's quite a few familiar faces in the room, a few others I haven't met yet. I'm David Seabour, been here in the office for 6 years and grateful that Keller Williams has placed a huge amount of focus lately on creating groups. They created groups like YP, Land, Luxury, and specifically, I'm going to speak about the Luxury Symposium they recently had up in Boston. So what they did was bring together agents from around the country. There's just over 300 of us that came together to build relationships and then talk about what's going on in the business. And specifically, what does it take to create an exceptional luxury experience? And there's really 2 words I want you guys to take away from what I talk about today. The first is listen, and the second is experience. And I'm gonna dive into those 2 things in sort of what we talked about and what was shared while we were there. Counter to what we see in a lot of KW events, which is focused on skills and real estate based information. This particular event focused a lot on bringing outsiders, people that had nothing to do with real estate, into the space to really talk about listening and experiences. Something that really stood out to me throughout it all was, in order to be able to provide great experiences, which we all do in our real estate sales businesses, is you have to be able to experience great experiences. So I'm going to challenge you guys in the room to think about, when was the last time you guys had a great experience? Whether it was in a restaurant, retail experience, a hotel. Anybody want to share a recent experience that comes to mind that was truly exceptional? No, that's not good at all. So, go ahead, PJ.
Mike.
Probably a month or so ago, I went to dinner at Drift, that new restaurant on Lake Wiley. Had been there twice before, not had great experiences. Went there for dinner, wasn't good. Second time, just went there, and if you guys know where it is, it's right on the water. We got off, and because we didn't have collared shirts on, we couldn't go in. So it was kind of like, forget this place. Friend said, hey, let's go check it out. And so we got there and didn't really say anything about our experience that I had previously. Had dinner, had a great meal. Everything was awesome. Everything came out timely manner. Had ordered a bottle of wine, and they no longer had that bottle of wine on their wine list. So they had actually brought out a very expensive bottle of wine by mistake. And I mean, I'm talking the over $100 price difference. They gave us that wine at the other price, which I know cuts the hospitality. It cuts into their cost. And I just kind of shared with them the previous experiences I had, and just said, you know, hey, this wasn't great, and tonight you guys just knocked it out of the park. We'll definitely come back, so on and so forth. And then they came back over afterwards and gave us a $50 gift certificate to come back the next time.
Awesome.
So that was where somebody, and those of you that have been in hospitality, like David and I have been, I mean, that's really given that level of service. And I think that's what we need to do in real estate.
Absolutely. Thank you, PJ. So is the story now that you're telling about the brand, about Drift, different after that experience than after those first two experiences?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I also got them to join our networking group too. So that was a bonus.
Perfect. So people are going to tell a story about your brand. Is it a story that's worth repeating? And is it a story that you want to be circulating around? And any good brand that's out there is very intentional about the story that they're looking to tell, and they're working in ways to really craft that perfect experience. It was great. They brought in some hotel people. One happened to work for Ritz-Carlton Hotels previously, a brand that I also got to spend some time with. And they talked about how in a hotel guest room for Ritz-Carlton, the guest room itself, there's 125 standards that the housekeeper has to follow in order to go ahead and have that be meeting of their standards for a hotel room. And that particular speaker challenged each one of us in the room to say, all right, if you're in the business of crafting experiences, what does a perfect experience look like? What's that checklist entail to make sure that if you could write down what it looked like to be a perfect buyer sale or a perfect listing sale, what would go into it in order to make that memorable and a story that people would tell for all the right reasons. Something else that came up that really stood out to me during the event was being an uncertainty killer for your clients. People have a lot of questions out there. There's a lot of different moving parts. And it was a great reminder for me, who's going through a personal move myself, to say, all right, there's a lot of things that are going on outside of real estate that factor in or are triggered as a result of going through a personal move. What are we doing to be that voice of reason or that voice of calm in order to go ahead and make it memorable again for all the right reasons? And then finally, we got to hear from an author, a gentleman by the name of Scott McCain. He shared his book Iconic with us. And during kind of his explanation of the book, he talked about the ways that brands work to become iconic and truly memorable. And at a very base level, we can apply it to real estate. At the beginning, we're all pretty same. We're very similar. What we have to offer is a function to help people buy and sell. As you build your business, build your brand, you look to be different. When you are looking to be different, make sure you're being different for the right reasons. After you're different, be distinctive, be really world-class in your given business. But I think what each one of us ultimately wants is to become iconic and to be not only a business in real estate that people want to associate with, but truly a brand that people come to when they're looking for advice, both inside and outside of real estate. And that can be as simple as a restaurant recommendation, or if there's some sort of a life event that's taking place, they want to partner with you because of what you stand for and what your brand stands for. And what was exciting about hearing the author speak about that is, what is the biggest or the number one challenge any business has when it's launching and growing? Now, I'm going to say, just from a basic form of business, what is the number one thing we have to do? Perfect. Lead gen. So we need to go out and find business. When you truly become an iconic brand, you've built something so big that people are intentionally reaching out to you because you provide so much value in what they're looking for, that suddenly your experiences are so great that people are working to not only do business with you, but partner with you. So, so in closing, again, just listen. People will tell you exactly what they need from you and what they need help with, and go out and craft exceptional experiences, and your business will continue to thrive and grow. So that was just kind of a quick snapshot. Again, there's some great communities out there. If you're looking for full notes from that event, feel free to email me, just davidseabour@kw.com. Be more than happy to share some other great nuggets from that event.
You're amazing. Thank you. I know you just turned your mic off, but were you always a luxury agent?
I was not. So I was actually just looking back through some old pictures, and my very first listing when I got into the business was $100,000. So pretty quaint place, but that was a launching ground. And I think that's something we talk a lot about within the luxury community, that luxury isn't a price point, it's an experience. And if you know how to provide a great experience, that transcends any price points. And if you just know how to take care of people, that will ultimately guide you to people that expect it and are willing to pay for it. I think I saw a hand go
Yeah,
up.
question?
Yeah, I would argue that he.
Which was great, because did you see his first answer was no?
Yeah.
And yet he was able to turn that around because
Yeah,
of,
because it is a mindset, and he has focused on experience from day one, and coming from his previous background at Four Seasons and Ritz-Carlton, the brands he's worked with, he's always been a luxury agent.
yep. Even that $100,000 listing. That's right. That's right. And so just because luxury tells you that it's $750, for anybody that didn't know, it's $750, generally speaking, depending on the county. That doesn't mean that we're not giving luxury, right, for our people. Awesome job. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
So David mentioned when he first started talking that we do have several segments that KW has been working really hard on. So if you are totally confused by what anything is up here, like KWYP, KW Land, KW Military, KW Wealth, etc., please just have a conversation with me. I can direct you to the right person, the right place, all the things. KW Wealth coming soon, right? All right, guys. Should I press the right? Oh, the big fatty. Vanna, would you come up here, beautiful? Look at this big fatty check, y'all. Come on. Thank you. $44,000 and change. So everybody that is on this list right here, if you're in the room, would you please stand up? These are our profit share earners for just this past month. Congratulations, you guys. Congratulations. That's amazing. So as you can see, we're over $500,000 for the year just through, what is that, through September. What does that mean? So on my next slide here, I've got added to profit share downline. So all of these amazing people have added people just in this last month to the Keller Williams family. So again, as a part of profit share, we are sharing the experience of Keller Williams and what it means to be here. Cool. Congratulations. Excuse me. Congratulations. All right. So we've got some things going on coming in the office. I knew, that's why I was like, look at Gopal up in the front seat. So write it down in your calendars right now. And I know y'all are using your phone calendars and you are time blocking because that is why you are an amazing salesperson. November 4th, 1 o'clock for 1 hour. 1 hour, this guy is going to share his experiences with us. And when I tell you, you will be amazed. He is an amazing person and business owner, and the things that he's doing at the ripe age of 21. 21. He's had his license for 2 years, and I'm telling you, he will blow your mind on where he's going and the things that he's going to make happen. So make sure you write that down. Come listen to what Gopal's got to tell us. On, let's see, this is November 2nd. We are having Canopy and Brian back to do CMAs. Do you guys think that maybe listing a house has changed in the last, I think it was like 5 months ago we had Brian here? Right, no longer throwing darts up. That's great. You should probably attend. All right, November 2nd. Mindset is everything with the amazing PJ Kennedy. This is November 9th, just a half day, 1 to 4, November 9th. I would say and challenge anybody in this room that I would say with the shift happening, mindset is the #1 thing that you can do for yourself and your business to get on track. Okay, don't miss it. November 9th. And our KW family reunion, February 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st is in Anaheim, California. My old roommate sitting over here. We've been there. It's an amazing facility. You guys, again, now we're in the middle of the shift. What is 2023 going to look like? You're going to want to be in the room to find out. It is in person only. In person only. So make your reservations today or find a buddy that'll pay for your room, right? Is that what we decided? However you need to get there. May I steal a mic? Mic check, mic check. Here we go for the amazing and beautiful Miss Leah. Whoop, whoop, whoop. She gets a whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hey guys, my name is Leah. As most of you know, with Julia Designs, myself and my sister Jules are your MC tech coordinators. So I just wanted to come up and give you your weekly tech update. And going off of actually what Jenny said, first of all, about how much Gary Keller cares about the technology that he provides for us and how cool it is to work for a real estate company that cares about your technology. There's actually a website called ideas.kw.com that you can go on anytime and submit what you want to see in Command. And guess what? They implement it all the time. They go on there and get their next ideas for those feature updates. And every week, every Monday, we have a meeting with the region where they let us know, this is the tech update. They're running out this week, they're rolling out this week. And then come to these team meetings and I'll be sure to let you know what those new tech updates are. But no, it's really exciting to work for a company that's listening to their agents, what you want your technology to do, and then they're actually implementing that. So outside of that, I do want to talk to you guys about our new tech calendar as rolled out. So we have a brand new 10 weeks coming up here. For today's class, so that's every Tuesday from 1 to 3, we have the Ultimate Command Overview. If you are new to the KWB technology, you need to be at this class today, okay? We'll be going over all that the KW technology has to provide. Did you know there's 2 mobile apps? You know how to work best and get leads captured from your websites, from landing pages. All of that will be overviewed in the first hour. Second hour, we'll be talking about the top 3 features you should be using in Command. Well, there's a lot that you can use in Command. You really only have to learn about 3 items in Command, and we're going to teach you that to take that overwhelming feeling off of your plate. And next week, we'll be talking about DocuSign and opportunities, so be sure to attend that class as well if you are newer to DocuSign. And we're trying to avoid getting to that, oh, I need an offer submitted right now, but I've never learned DocuSign. So come on next Tuesday, 1 to 3, and I'll go ahead and give you all you need to know about that. And one more thing I want to say about, you can offer a shift of perspective for your technology. A lot of agents come into our office saying, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much technology to learn. I just want to pull my hair out, right? Now, if you think of that, a little differently. Okay, if you go through Ignite, which I did 10 years ago, you'll find out really quickly that all agents run their business differently. Many agents, my mom included, does not use KW Command or the technology and was able to build a very successful business. Why? What's that same repeating thing that they're all doing? They're loving on their sphere, right? That doesn't necessarily involve technology. So if you don't feel like technology is your strength, guess what? You can call your sphere. That doesn't involve technology. You can go pop by, identify your top 50. And I want you to think of a good pop by gift. Brainstorm with us. And I want you to go reach out to them during the holidays, write them a handwritten card. Now, where the technology comes in and is very powerful is usually those seasoned agents who have built a really successful business come into our office and say, I have so much business, but no systems, right? I don't know what to do to put this in order. And that is where your opportunity of Command comes in, right? That's where Command can systemize your calls. Make it so it's telling you to call each one of your top 50 each quarter. Remind you to get those pop by gifts and get those out. So you can create those systems in Command. They'll make your business run a lot more efficiently. So if you're interested in that, okay, 1 to 3 every Tuesday, make sure to schedule that in and schedule an appointment with us if you'd like to, kwbresources.com. I need tech help on the top right. Schedule a 30-minute appointment with us. It's free for you guys. And speaking of free, okay, one more thing I want to, okay, I'll just call here. Thanks. All right, one more really cool free tool that you have for the KW Tech, it's Scott Leroy Marketing. And I feel like we don't use this service enough in our business. So I want to make sure that I tell you guys more about that and how to use them. First of all, number one, wouldn't it be nice if you had a resource to ask any KW Tech question and get an answer within like 5 to 10 minutes? That's what emailing support@scottleroymarketing.com does for you. During normal business hours, it's like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. They are answering emails within 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're not sure, hey, is it me that the KW technology isn't working right or something glitching, shoot them an email. They'll find out. They'll send you a quick video on how to do it. Outside of that, so you can ask really quick tech questions. Outside of that, they also provide a bunch of free tech concierge services. Okay, so if you go to scottleroymarketing.com/support, okay, and I would urge you to take a picture of the slide or write it down. The password will always be 350. I'm going to put it on the slide. So if you'll jot that down, 350 is our market center number. Okay, there's a whole list of free tech support that they do. They'll import your contacts for free into your database. They'll set up smart plans for free. They'll create QR codes. You need a QR code created for your website, for a landing page, for an app. Did you know if you just email them, support@scottleroymarketing.com, send them the website they want that you want the QR code for, they'll email you back 5-10 minutes later with a QR code. Cool, right? So whatever you're looking for, go through scottleroymarketing.com/support, and it's a whole list of all the free support items they're happy to help with. Lastly, number 3 here, slmtraining.com. That is 24/7 KW Tech training by topic. It breaks it down, KW Command overview, DocuSign, referral section of Command. What do you want to learn about? There's 10-minute videos and hour-long training separated by topic, slmtraining.com. All right, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to email us, contact@juliadesigns.com. I'm more than happy to help you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was right there. So make sure you come at 1 o'clock because that's a whole lot to fit into one sentence, isn't it? You guys got so much going on. I don't know why I didn't just hold on to the mic. You have an update for us.
I do have an update. I have 2 updates. So just real quick, is anybody working in 55 and older communities? Listing properties in 55 older communities? Anybody want to list properties? 55. Right. Well, Canopy has come up with a form. If you're not using it, you need to use it. For 55 and older communities, if you don't know where to find it, it's under Canopy in DocuSign, or you can go straight to Canopy and look at their forms and find it. It is a required form. It's kind of new to us, so make sure you're remembering to use that. Your paycheck will be held up if it's not in Command, right, Carla? Right, Lynn? So make sure you're using the 55 and older document. Canopy requires, if you're advertising the property in the MLS as being a 55 and older community, They need documentation that you verified that it's a 55 and older community and that you talked to somebody either on the board at the HOA and verified that they qualify as a 55 and older community. Okay? So if you don't know where to find it, give me a shout, give Carla a shout, and we'll get it to you. Say that again? It's for the listing agent. It's for the listing agent. It's for the person that's advertising it as a 55 and older community. It's kind of similar to our coming soon from Canopy. It's just you have to complete it, sign it, make sure you have the appropriate signature from somebody that's authorized to sign for the community. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. One other item that I really want to talk about and maybe take some questions about, South Carolina changed their contract to an as-is contract, if I know that, right? So, so now we have what they call a termination fee. Very similar to our due diligence fee. It's paid at the time of termination. Okay, one of the conditions of termination is that the seller receives that fee. So if your seller receives a termination form and not the $1,000 termination fee, in actuality, the contract's not terminated. Okay? Make sure that buyer's agent knows and understands it's not terminated until we get the fee. That's one way you can get them to produce that fee, collect that fee, have that fee delivered, because as time goes on, they could be in jeopardy of losing their earnest money as well. Okay? Yes, PJ. No, that's now. That's as at the time they changed the contract, that became effective, and that was in June of this year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have, and all that.
So just for clarity, they can always reach out to you.
Absolutely.
I think that's the next slide.
Please reach out to me.
If they're totally confused by what you said.
Yeah, just give me a call, text, email, whatever. I'm usually easier to track now via text. you know.
Perfect.
So if you need an answer really quick, text. You know, if it's something that you need to give scenarios on, send me an email. Don't send me a 5-page
Text.
You know, if you just need me to call you right back, say, hey, I'm in a situation, give me a call as quick as you can, and I'll either say I'll call you in 10 minutes, or I'm in a class, it's gonna be an hour or whatever, so. okay?
Perfect. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. MLS dues.
Woo!
We have 10 people that we're sending out a bill collector for. If you have not paid your MLS dues, expect a phone call. Okay, at some point, we become in jeopardy of the whole firm losing access to the MLS. So if you owe dues, we'll be calling you. If you don't, keep selling.
That's right. 911 situation.
Exactly.
Thank you, sweetheart. All right, guys. We have Miss Liz. We have our next amazing guest. Nick, are you online with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you. I'm going to let Liz do all her beautiful technology things and kind of pinpoint you up
Okay.
there so we can hear and see you. And then you
Perfect.
got the floor.
Yeah, I've got some slides so I can share my screen and go over that whenever you guys are ready. Also, I want to know, where do you get a Keller Williams cape? Because I feel like I need one of those.
I know. The amazing people at KWB gave that to me. I don't know.
Man, that's awesome. I gotta say, I have to confess, I've never been to North Carolina before, but I heard Valentine is killing it. Y'all are like one of the top offices.
Aw. Thank
So-
you. And so everybody knows, Nick, where are you?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Awesome. And we are
Yeah,
screen
so-
shared. Fantastic. You should be able to share.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see, but in honor of this profit share class and Aaron Kaufman, I'm wearing my 401KW shirt today. So not as cool as a cape, but you know, that's what I got. All right, so yeah, let me share my screen here. I'm gonna start this. So are you guys ready? Let's do this. I'm excited. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about building wealth through profit share. And so profit share is something I'm really passionate about. Building wealth is something I'm also passionate about, and they tend to go hand in hand. So let me start just a couple minutes on how I got started and then where I am today. So, you know, I joined Keller Williams in college, which was, you know, over 12 years ago. I know I don't look that old, but I'm 31 now. And so I got my license when I was 19, right out of high school, freshman in college. What's funny is that I wanted to be a real estate agent since I was in middle school. If you guys are familiar with Jim and Linda McKissick, their son Press, we met in kindergarten and he's my best friend. So we kind of grew up together, like they're kind of my second family. So you could probably guess how I got interested in real estate. And so, you know, I wanted to join Keller Williams, get into real estate, be an agent. And then, you know, when I was about to graduate, I had sort of what I jokingly refer to as my quarter life crisis. And I realized, you know, as I was doing it, I was like, you know what, I feel like this is just not for me. Like I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to. And I was like, I'm about to graduate, you know, what am I going to do with my life kind of thing. And then, you know, it wasn't until like, you know, a couple of years after that, I discovered profit share. So I had been an agent, been with Keller Williams for probably like 5 or 6 years before I even knew what recruiting was, what profit share was, any of that kind of stuff. And obviously, you know, if anyone's familiar with Linda, you know, she's the top profit share earner in the company. And I was like, man, whatever they're doing, I need to start doing that. So, you know, me and Press built a system, which I'll get into and share what we do. But I started doing recruiting more or less full time in 2017. So I was like, hey, let's just go all in on it. This is, you know, I'm passionate about doing this. I love Keller Williams, want to help people join it, and I like real estate. So let's do this. So my first year was okay, I suppose, not super good, but I recruited about 27 people. And obviously we built systems and I got better. And, you know, so fast forward to today, I've recruited over 500 people, you know, directly sponsored over 500 people into the company. Last year, 2021 was my best year. It's probably a lot of people's best year in real estate sales in general. But I recruited 163 people last year. I've earned over 150,000 in lifetime profit share earnings. And then, you know, unfortunately, I can't claim number one, but Brett Mitchell is number one. He's been top for a long time, but I was been the number 2 recruiter in Keller Williams for a couple of years. So anyway, that's just a little bit about me and the recruiting journey and story and kind of where I am today. But yeah, let's get into the more nuts and bolts of it. So I'm going to start with generally just kind of how recruiting works and how you get paid from it. Because I know there's, you know, there might be some new agents here. They're like, you know, kind of like I was for 5 years. I didn't even know what profit share was or what, you know, what recruiting even was. So it's very similar to working with buyers and sellers and kind of, you know, traditional real estate, what you're already doing, because you're lead generating. The only difference is instead of lead generating for buyers and sellers, you're lead generating for new agents. And so that's what I do. I don't lead generate for buyers and sellers. I advertise and lead generate for people who want to get into real estate. And so when when you excite someone about Keller Williams, you talk to them, you refer them to a team leader and they join, then everybody who joins Keller Williams has to put down the name of someone that referred them into the company. So if you did that role, if you play that role, then you would be their sponsor. You would go in there, they would be in your first level. And so that's essentially how sponsorship works. You guys might already know that, but then there's the profit share calculation. There's 2 sides to recruiting. There's a sponsorship, then there's the profit share. So this is something like, if you look at that truth box right there, you don't need to know in-depth calculations in order to recruit people. It's good to have just a fundamental understanding of it. You know, I don't know profit share coefficients and office profitability and all that kind of stuff. You don't need to know that. But the main thing on that chart there on the right is that 50% is your first level. So obviously, you know, recruiting goes down 7 levels. And so you can make money from people in your 7th level, which is really cool because you have, you know, probably didn't do anything to make that money. You know, you can influence your first level. So if you have someone contribute $1,000 to the profit share pool, you would make $500 from that because you make 50% on your first level. So your first level is the most important one. That's the one that you can most directly influence. So I wouldn't worry too much about levels 2 through 7. As Aaron Kaufman says, if you build it wide, time will build it deep. So you just got to give it time, just like any other kind of investment strategy. But yeah, I would focus on your first level. If you want to build your profit share in recruiting, that's the one you can directly influence. So how do you actually do recruiting? So this is how I sponsored 163 agents last year, and how I do it today and every single year, honestly. So this is kind of my system. I'm going to share my system with you. You can copy it, you can modify it for what works for you, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So for us, it starts with lead generation. I mentioned, before, I lead generate for people that want to get into real estate. So my system is about new agents. So I'm not actively involved in selling, so I don't have that opportunity with co-op agents. You guys do if you're actively involved in selling. So that's a great opportunity because those people are more likely to be cappers and sell versus, new agents. You're not sure what's going to happen with them. But for me, I go after new agents, people who are getting into real estate. So I have my lead generation strategies primarily Indeed ads. I've talked to other people that recruit a lot that do Facebook ads. Another lady I spoke to, she does her local market and she goes and talks to the real estate schools and recruits people kind of in person. So there's a lot of ways to lead generate. This is the way that we do it. And so we have a website called launchintorealestate.com. You're welcome to go check it out, look at that site. But basically, we drive traffic from the advertising to the website. On the website, there's 3 options of how to segment these people. So the 3 options is number 1, you're licensed, you're ready to go. Number 2 is you're in classes, so you're going to be licensed soon. And then number 3 is you're not in classes, you're just thinking about real estate, sounds interesting, you might take your classes. And so kind of one of my tips is I try to focus on the most qualified people. Just like, hopefully you probably won't go show homes to someone who hasn't spoken with a lender. You don't know how much they can afford. You want to make sure you're spending time and sending referrals with people that are ready to go. They have license, like they actually can join. So that's what I do. I try to focus on people that are fully qualified. And so based on that, we built this in 2017. So that was kind of before KW Command was really a thing. You could build smart plans for this now in Command. We have a different CRM that has these follow-up sequences. So based on what they select on the website, they go into 3 different kind of drip campaigns. And if they're in the first 2 scenarios, they're licensed or they're in school, then I send them a link to my calendar, like Calendly. I use Acuity, but they're all the same basically. But you just have an online calendar. I send them a link and then they schedule a phone call with me. So the recruiting call is kind of like, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's like the appointment phase of this whole process. So, and the next slide, I'm going to go into more in depth on what I say and how you actually do a recruiting call with somebody. But yeah, after you have the call, if they're ready to go and they're qualified, then that's when you send them to the office. So, if you're going to be doing just locally in Ballantyne, then obviously who your team leader is, who to refer them to. If you're doing it outside of your market center, I do it nationally. So you got to look up who to send them to. And then obviously after that, you have follow-up. So, Aaron says when you're doing recruiting, you have 2 clients. One is a team leader and one is the recruit, and you need to follow up with both. So, just like in real estate sales, recruiting follow-up is super important. And so the reason I have the top view in gray and the bottom in red is because regardless of how you generate leads, you don't have to do Indeed ads, you don't have to have a website and all this kind of stuff. But no matter how you do it, everyone is going to go through the last 3 steps with as the appointment or the recruiting call, the office referral, and then follow up. So those are the ones that I want to kind of zero in on to show you guys a little bit more about. And so here's what I call the anatomy of a recruiting call. So here's kind of my basic outline and the things that I'm trying to accomplish on that call. And this doesn't matter whether, it's in person or over the phone, virtually. Everything I do is virtually, over the phone. When I started, I recruited only in Dallas, and so I would meet people at Starbucks and do this in person. That took a lot more time, but either way, this is kind of the basic outline. My calls are typically like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on, you know, how long people talk and how many questions they have. But the first two things there are really qualifying questions. So number one is, where are you in the licensing process? That's super important. Even if they've selected on the site like licensed agent and they come in the CRM and tags them as the licensed agent, you know, you want to double check, you know, when I'm talking on the phone. Because me personally, and you can do it however you want to, but this is my process. I don't send referrals to a team leader unless they're licensed. So I try to make sure that they're fully qualified. I send, you know, I don't want to waste a team leader's time. So I want to send them the best quality referrals that I can. So I want to make sure that they've passed their test, they're ready to go. And so I ask them, you know, are you in school? Have you finished your classes? Are you licensed? Like, where are you in this process? If they haven't taken their test yet, they just go on my follow-up list, and I check in with them and follow up until they are licensed, so they have passed their test. And then at that point, that's when I send them to the team leader. The second thing is another qualifying thing. Have you spoken with somebody from Keller Williams? Because that ties in with sponsorship. You know, the goal of recruiting obviously is to get the sponsorships, have people go in your downline. And so if you're talking with someone, they're like, yeah, my mom or my cousin, my brother, my sister, you know, they're with Keller Williams, then, you know, you don't want to fight someone for a sponsorship. You want to be in culture, obviously, with Keller Williams, and you want to refer that recruit back to the person who they have a relationship with in Keller Williams. I can't tell you how many amazing recruiting calls I've had that I've just knocked it out of the park, answered every single question, and then at the end of 30 minutes, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've got a meeting set up tomorrow at the office," or "My mom's with Keller Williams," and I'm like, "Well, that would have been nice to know in the first 5 minutes." So that's why I do this in the beginning. You want to make sure that you know, when I ask that question, my typical script, it's super easy. I'm like, "Hey, have you had an opportunity to go to one of our offices or talk to anybody from Keller Williams yet?" And most of the time they're like, "No, you're the first person I've talked to." And so at that point, you're like, "Perfect, you know, let's get more into this." And so the next thing I do is I just explain how you join Keller Williams. And so a lot of things that you guys take for granted, they don't know, and they would be really appreciative if you told them how it works. And so typically I just say, "Hey, you know, just so you know, I do recruiting for Keller Williams. I'm here to answer questions, guide you through this process. After this call, I'm going to connect you with the local office in your area. I'm going to connect you with a team leader in Ballantyne, for example, if that's where they live. And then, you know, you're going to get to have like a one-on-one meeting. They'll show you around the office. If you like it, you can fill out your paperwork, and you're official, you're active, and you can start training." So just explaining that, they're like, you know, "Thank you. KW is a big company. I don't know who to talk to, how to get in the door." So, you know, I just kind of show them, here's the process, here's what I'm going to help you with. And then number 4 is really, this is if you're going to do recruiting outside of your market center. If you're just doing it locally for Ballantyne, then obviously, you know, that's the office that you're referring them to. But if you're going to do it on a higher level, out of state or just in different markets, you need to see where they live, and you need to see where the office, which KW market center is close to them, so you can make sure you're on the same page. Like, "Hey, you know, you live in Nashville, you know, here's our office in Nashville. That's the one that I'm going to refer you to. You know, does that sound good?" Just make sure you're on the same page with that. And the last part, number 5, so 1 through 4 is like, you know, 5-7 minutes. Really the bulk of the call is number 5, just answering questions. I essentially just open up the floor. I'm like, "Hey, how can I help you? What kind of questions do you have for me? How can I help out?" And so, you know, that truth box over there, like, if you know what your fees and your splits and your training look like you know enough at least to recruit new agents. Because a lot of times people will you know, feel, I guess, unqualified. They're like, I'm not the expert on Keller Williams. I'm not the team leader. I don't know everything. So how can I recruit someone into Keller Williams? The truth is, if you've been here for longer than a day, which I'm assuming all you have, if you know what your splits are, what the fees are in your office, how your training looks like, then you know enough to recruit new agents. That's it. So, and pretty much just like working with buyers and sellers, like everyone has the same, 4 or 5 objections when you're trying to close a deal. And that's where you have your scripts and your dialogues, and you're like, okay, everyone says the same thing. I'm going to come up with great answers to these, 5 questions I always get. And it's the same thing with recruiting. They always ask, what are the splits? What are the fees? What does your training look like? You can just come up with, good answers to those questions. I mean, you know enough to recruit new agents. So it's not that complicated. And also, if you can do, if you're, a capper, you can recruit cappers. So that's something that Linda McKissick talks about, is who are you relevant to? So if you're, $5 million, $10 million producer, you could recruit people at that level from other companies as well. Okay, so the next step is the office referral and the follow-up. So you want to refer, here's what I say. You don't want to play the telephone game. And this is something like, if you're recruiting just for Ballantyne in your local market center, it's a little bit easier. If you're going to be doing it for a lot of different offices, every office works a little bit different, because in some market centers, the team leader meets with all agents, cappers, producers, brand new agents, everything. In some offices, the assistant team leader meets with the new agents. In other offices, there's the productivity coach meets with the new agents. Some is, it just depends. So if you're going to be doing that, my recommendation is don't call the director of first impressions and then just, leave the information with that person, and they'll say, oh, what, I'll pass along to so-and-so and they'll reach out. The best thing for you to do is figure out who is actually going to be meeting with your recruit, and then make the handoff directly to them for several reasons, because you want to follow up. And if, the team leader or the director of first impressions isn't actually doing the appointment, then you don't want to bother them and be like, hey, how'd the meeting go? Like, well, I didn't meet with them. Let me check with, so-and-so. So you want to make sure that you're talking to the right person and you can communicate directly with them. And this is also pertinent too, if you don't actually know them. So, I don't send like blind referrals to people that I've never spoken to. So if it's a new office that I've never sent a referral to, I make sure and, give a personal phone call. I talk to the team leader. I'm like, hey, my name is Nick. I'm with KW in Dallas. I've got a person for you in Ballantyne, in Nashville, wherever it is. I've spoken with them about Keller Williams. They've passed their test. Like, they're ready to roll. Like, can you please reach out, give them a call and get them in there? So, you want to, don't play a telephone game, and make a personal connection. And just like I said earlier, like, you have 2 clients, the team leader and the recruit. And so you want to follow up with both of these people. My philosophy, this is just something I've learned, like, follow up as much as you can, but don't be annoying. So, don't annoy the team leader or the productivity coach. Don't annoy the recruit. I typically try to touch each person once a week. So that's kind of my thing is, everyone gets to touch once a week, and that seems to work out well. And so, I mentioned about sponsorship. This is a super important thing, because if you're going to spend time and money to generate leads and talk to them, whether it's in person or on the phone, refer them to an office, you want to make sure that you're not working for free. So the way that you essentially kind of quote unquote get paid as a recruiter is sponsorship. And so obviously you want to be in culture with it. And so that's why I mentioned before, qualify. If they have their mom or their brothers with Keller Williams, don't try to take that, like, refer it back to that person. But if you genuinely are the person that, initially reached out to them, they don't have any other relationships, then have that conversation. And so an easy way, like my sample sponsorship script that I use at the end of a phone call, after I've kind of provided value and built rapport, built a relationship with that person, I typically say, like, oh, by the way, are you familiar at all with like our sponsorship or referral system that we do at Keller Williams? And obviously they've never heard of KW. The only thing they're like, no, like what is that? I'm like, okay, let me explain to you real quick before I send you over to the office. But basically what happens is every time someone new joins Keller Williams, they actually choose a sponsor. The sponsor is essentially just whoever referred them and who helped them join Keller Williams. And so I would be super honored if you feel like I was helpful, if you actually end up joining the office, then if you could just remember my name whenever you fill that part out on your paperwork, I'd greatly appreciate that. That would really help me out a lot. And just something like that. So, and they're always like, oh, yeah, I'd love to do that. Definitely, that sounds good to me. So what I don't say is, hey, make sure you put my name down as your sponsor, or like, do this and I'll do this for you, or something like that. So you want to kind of give it a soft intro like that. So more or less, that's kind of what I say at the end of every call before I send anyone to an office. Okay, so kind of the last thing I want to go over is just recruiting best practices, things that I've learned through over 1,000 calls and a lot of referrals and stuff like that. So number one, probably obvious, don't say anything bad about other real estate companies. As tempting as it might be, sometimes people, that I'm on the phone with say, oh, I had an appointment, or I talked to people from this other company, and there's one in particular that it's just really hard for me to refrain, but I do my best. So I don't say anything bad about other real estate companies. The second thing, which I've kind of talked about and I feel passionate about, is earn the sponsorship. So I believe that if you are the one that did that work, that you should be the sponsor, but I think you also need to do the work too. So don't expect to get something for nothing. Essentially, if you're the one that procured the lead, you generated that lead, and then you're the one that spoke to them initially, made that initial contact, talked to them about Keller Williams, and then you were the reason why they went to the office. Like, you kind of secured the appointment for them and made that connection. That's earning the sponsorship. But yeah, don't expect to get something for nothing. Don't just like send out list a bunch of people and then expect like, hey, put all these people in my downline. So I'm a big believer in earning it. Another thing that should hopefully put some weight off your back is that you're not technically the recruiter. I know I call myself like Keller Williams recruiter, but you're just the referrer. So you don't have to close a deal. You don't have to, make sure like you're not the person getting them sign up. That's the team leader's job. Like, they're trained on that. They will close the lead for you. You just send them there. So same thing with new agents, same thing with co-op agents from other companies. Like, you just say, hey, would you be offended if I put you in touch with Teresa or whoever, another office, whoever the team leads, would you be offended if I've, connected you guys and you just had a conversation with her? So, you're just the referrer. And then the relationship with the team leader is more important than one single recruit. There are offices that I've sent 20 to 30 referrals to. And so you want to have a strong relationship with the team leader, and that's more important than just one single recruit. So you want to look at it from a long-term perspective. But yeah, I mean, the last thing I have is like just motivation. Like, it's never too late to start making it better tomorrow. I started recruiting when I was 25. Honestly, I wish I started when I was in college. I wish I'd known about recruiting and sponsorship 4 years earlier. I probably would be retired by now. Who knows? But everybody wishes they would have started sooner. So the best time to start is now. That's really it. So yeah, that was about as much recruiting info as I could pack in 20 or so minutes.
You did amazing.
Anybody have? Thank
That's
you.
a short amount of time. I know.
Yeah.
You did awesome.
I'm gonna stop sharing here.
And I'm gonna let you see everybody, so everybody can give them a round of applause, so you can see all of our amazing people.
Awesome. I love it. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
Anybody? No questions. No questions today, but that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that big check you got back there.
I know. We're going to keep at it, Nick. I appreciate you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to keep going as Liz gets us back technology wise. How about we bring up ALC really quick if you're in house, really quick with announcements. I know you guys have one, and I know Social has one. Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah. Okay, good. That was enough. Perfect. There you go. Perfect. You got your flyer. Awesome. And how do they order? That's not on there. Okay, got to go to Jessica's office. Got to go to Jessica's office for all y'all online and get your swag, your KWB swag. All right. And please, nobody here from social. Okay, I'm going to do social because it's super important and I'm really excited about this. One little click. There we go. Trunk or treat is this Friday, 5 to 7. And some of our cute pictures from last year. I love the pumpkin one because the pumpkin's no longer in the belly. She'll be here. So yeah, some of our amazing sponsors. Lauren is in house. I know, I thought about you when I put that one up there. Yes, yes, yes. So some of our amazing sponsors will be here, the kiddos, all the good things. If you guys can pop in, do food, snacks, drinks, all the thing, and amazing amount of candy that, you know, what kid doesn't want to get dressed up in their costume more than once. So join us on Friday from 5 to 7. And and Torrington is doing a movie night as well that night that they're sponsoring for a family movie night. So they're doing it all on the green. Yeah, come and spend the time. Regarding education, we went over most of that stuff already today. And our October Rising Star is John. Come on up here. He is thinking, what in the heck? So our ALC awards a Rising Star every single month. And this is somebody that is less than 1 year in the business, somebody who's showing up not only in your business, but also a big piece of this is showing up in culture. Have you all been seeing John around the office? I see a lot of heads nodding. Everybody's like, yeah, I know that dude. I like that dude. And so your ALC actually voted you for the Rising Star of the month. So I have a whole huge bag of star verse for you. So congratulations. We're so glad you're here. Keep killing it. If you didn't know, John is actually retired NYPD. And so stop and thank him for his service whenever you see him in the office next. We appreciate you. All right, and last but not least, we have some amazing vendors here. Simply Transactions, I see right in front of me here. Two beautiful ladies. Lauren, I already called out in the back. Who else do we have here? Jeff, did I see? Jeff is in the house. Carolina Gold is here, of course. Who else am I missing? I haven't seen Haley. I don't think Hallie in person. Consolidated Planning is here though. Yes, okay, great. Awesome. So everybody, you guys remember, our vendors are always out in the hub. So stop by, say hello, see how they can help you in your business. Okay. And thank you. Have a great week. Thank you. It's always like click, 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 click. I got you. This.